Hello, this is part two of my Google Scholar kind of brief overview. My name's Kelly Farquharson, and I'm an associate professor at Florida State University. So I left off my last video, and I was telling you about this feature here in Google Scholar. So we had typed in an article that we were interested in. We got the title. And so let's say, for instance, for the work that I'm doing, this is a topic that I'm really interested in, increasing higher level language skills to improve reading comprehension. So that is exactly what I'm studying for my class or exactly what I want to write a paper about. And so I can cite it here. We talked about that. But I can also look at who else has cited this paper. So when I click here, it brings up a list of articles that have cited that article. And so this can be really great because you get to see newer work that has cited that work. That was a 2011 paper. So things that have been published in the past 7 years that have cited that work will be listed here for you. And it tells you explicitly, let me go back, that there were 67 papers that have cited that paper. So that's helpful. And so that you'll have that at the bottom of all of these articles. So that's something that I really like. You'll also be able to search for related articles. And then what's most important here is you'll get access to the full text PDF here. And that is if you have access to a specific library, or if the PDF is available through the researcher's institution or through another metric. So what you'll see here is the PDF is available. So if I click that, it's going to take me out of Google Scholar and it's going to take me directly to the PDF of that document. Now, without going into too much detail about this is a researcher who had been at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and like most universities, the University of Nebraska and Lincoln has a digital commons or a way to store the published work of the researchers at that institution. Most institutions have this. And so this is a digital repository that you can find most of the work that has been published by researchers at that institution. So I have the full article right here, which is great. Some are easier to get than others. So what you'll see is the PDF and you'll see where it's located. So is it coming from the institution where that individual works? Like, for instance, here we have this paper by Jessie Ricketts and she's at Reading in the UK. And so her institution also offers the PDF. But then you see this link here that says find it at FSU. How does it know that I'm at FSU? So I have linked my library, the library that I have access to my Google Scholar profile. So here's how I did that. I went over here to the little three bars on the left, and you're going to go down to settings. Now yours is going to look different than mine. Now I have a few options here. I have languages, library links, account, and button. I'm going to go to library links, and then you're able to enter here whatever library that you have access to, and you can choose up to 5 libraries. So I have WorldCat, and I have the FSU libraries. And so all I did here was type in Florida State University, hit search. And since I'm already logged into those, you see that it doesn't change anything. But for you, when you type that in, you will get the opportunity to select, do you want find it at FSU? Do you also want the Gale full text options for those? And I check both of those. So I should have access to anything that Florida State has access to. And that's really important as a Florida State student. That's one of the huge benefits that you get is access to the library. So you can go ahead and select those and then hit save. And then whenever you do your next search, it should come up that you can find that article at FSU. And so if it's not available, so here, this is an example of an article that actually doesn't have any other PDF link here available. So let's see what happens when we click find it at FSU. We have to log in. So that's my FSU login, and I'm going to sign in there. And then it's going to take me directly to that paper because FSU has access to it. So I can download the PDF. I can look at it here. And again, you do have to log in, so you can't just choose any library. You have to have a library that you have access to. So for instance, I used to live in Boston and I had a library card for the Boston Public Library, and Boston Public Library had great resources and lots of access to lots of different periodicals and journals. And so I had my login for the Boston Public Library because I was able to use that as a resource as well. Okay, so those are the main things that I use Google Scholar for. I use it every day. It's a very great resource that I enjoy and that is makes my life easier for both research and um, teaching. One more thing that I'll show you just quickly is this My Library. So I had mentioned earlier, if you click here on this star and save an article. What will happen then is if you go to the left navigation and go to my library, it'll pull up. So these are the two that I just starred. So these are added to my library now. So it'll pull up any article that you've wanted to save. So I do this for things that I cite frequently or that I want to have quick access to. It's a nice way to store them so that I don't have to have the file on my computer if I don't want it. Which of course you're able to also download them and have it on your library, have it on your personal library as opposed to your Google Scholar library. Um, and then my profile, this will look different for you. This is my researcher profile. So the other thing that you'll be able to do if you're interested in following a specific researcher is see if they have a Google Scholar profile. And then instead of seeing kind of a random list of articles, you actually see everything that they've published, all the work that they have done. And so that's helpful too if you're interested in looking at articles that are specific to a particular researcher. So that's the basics of Google Scholar. You should have access to a variety of resources and peer-reviewed publications through the use of Google Scholar by linking your FSU by linking to the FSU library. If you link your Gmail account, you also have the possibility of setting up alerts, which I covered in the last video. And I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions about this information, please feel free to email me. My FSU email is kelly.farquharson@cci.fsu.edu. So good luck and happy researching.